how tempting it must be every single time you make contact with a client to want to try and sell them something. Well, what I'm saying we need to look at today, and this is how you become an incredibly powerful salesperson, is you need to learn the art of selling the appointment first. Because remember, nothing ever happens to you, things happen because of you. So if you want to be successful, if you want to be that sales superstar that I know you already are, you need to forget about bracing your feet firmly against the desk every time you sit in front of the customer, or even worse, before you even get to make that first appointment, sitting there contemplating, thinking, wow, I'm going to close this sale. I'm saying let's take a step back. Let's take a step back just for a moment before you consider selling, and let's rather think about getting that first appointment, because that's what it's really all about. Don't ever even think about starting the process if you haven't got a completely thought out purpose or objective for the appointment. It astounds me how many people, and I'm going to refer to them as salespeople because they're certainly not sales professionals, how many salespeople out there live by the adage of, I'll just pop in. I can't imagine anything that could be more superfluous or pointless than popping in. Before you even sit down to start making an appointment, before you even contemplate setting up that appointment with the right decision maker, you need to have a purpose for the call. What are you actually trying to achieve? The purpose may very well just be to get that first appointment, but you've got to have a clearly defined purpose in your brain. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve anything on that call. What you need to keep in mind every single time you pick up the phone, every single time you're trying to sell that appointment, you've got to spark an interest about the value that you offer, because they've heard it all. Those decision makers have heard every single sales pitch you can ever imagine. What you need to do is you need to think of innovative ways to get them to want to talk to you. So you know your product. Nobody knows your product better than you know your product. So the question you've got to be asking yourself here is okay, what is it that will spark an interest in my prospect where they'll actually want to speak to me, where they'll actually want to meet with me? Think about it. What is that something? What is that something unique, that something special that is going to make you stand out? And remember, my goodness, do not be boring. There's nothing worse than somebody phoning up on the other side of the phone and going, "Hi, have you ever heard of our company before?" They're not interested. The only thing your prospect is interested in, they're interested in what's in it for me. And if there's nothing in it for them, they don't actually care. So the bottom line is, don't be boring. Find exciting, innovative ways to engage your prospect. Find innovative, creative ways to make them want to meet with you, to make them anxious, to make them eager to actually meet with you. But before you can even start down this process, it astounds me how few salespeople, not sales professionals, how few salespeople actually know who the right decision makers actually are. Because you've only got a certain amount of time every single day. You don't have time to run around chasing after people, trying to find who the right decision maker is. You need to carefully research them. You need to have invested that time to find out who the right decision makers are. Because once you know who the right decision makers are, you're going right to the person who can make the decision. You don't want to be messing about with a person, the buyer, for example, who's got to get 3 signatures before they can make a decision. You want to go right to the top. You want to go to the CEO if necessary, the person who signs the checks, the person who makes the decision. That's the person you want to be speaking to. Those salespeople that spend their day chasing after the wrong people will never be successful. You need to invest that time. The time you invest into identifying and finding the right decision maker will save you months of chasing after the wrong people. What I need you to do is I need you to go away and I need you to introspect and I need you to think. I need you to say, what are my competitors not saying? What are my competitors not suggesting to my prospects? You need to find creative ways. You need to find different ways that your competitors are not using to get your prospect to want to meet with you. That's how you become successful. Go away right now. Think about it for a few minutes and then come back. Switch this back on with that understanding of those creative ideas of how you're going to get the attention of your prospects. You need to find ways. You need to encourage them to want more from you. You need to leave them hanging that they can't wait. They anxiously want to meet with you because you have so much to offer them. That is engagement. That is selling the first appointment first. That is walking through the door with somebody. And how do you know you're walking through the right door? First of all, you know the value that you offer. You secondly, obviously know that the person that you're going to see needs exactly what you have to sell. And then all you've got to do is you need to communicate the value, the intrinsic value that both you and your product offer. And closing the sale becomes really simple. But before you get to that stage, you need to get in front of the right decision maker. So consider, or rather concentrate and focus on selling the appointment first. Once you've got that appointment, you need to become a little creative. You need to not walk in and be the typical salesperson that asks that killer question: how can we get your business? What a ridiculous question. You think I'm exaggerating, but I am astounded with all the salespeople I go out with who ask that crazy question. They are busy people. Decision makers don't have time to waste. They don't have time to do your job for you. You need to be prepared. You need to know what you're doing. You need to go there with a clear objective, a clear purpose, and an absolutely well-researched process that you know you are crystal clear that what you sell is exactly what they need, and you have a set of engaging questions to uncover their values, to uncover their specific needs. That's how you become successful. Because if it's to be, it's up to me. You make the difference. You're the person that's going to make the massive difference in how your sales future turns out. Because it is up to you. Nobody else is going to achieve your sales targets. It's all up to you. So what I'd like you to do is to go and think. Go and introspect for a while and go and create a set of compelling questions. A set of questions that's going to help them to unlock that understanding of why do they want to do business with you? What is it unique? What is unique and special about you that is going to make them want to do business with you? Those questions that you ask have got to unlock their values, have got to unlock their needs, yet have got to leave them wanting more. They've got to become hungry to ask you questions. They've got to become anxious to get information from you. They've got to become desperate almost to want to find out as much about what you have to offer as possible. And that only comes from engaging questions. That only comes from questions that unlock more than just the basics. Those are questions that dig a whole lot deeper. Those engaging questions need to help you to get to know them better. Because you already know, you've researched them, you know the value that your product offers, you know that they're a perfect fit for your product. The next step is you need to communicate to them the exact value that you offer according to their needs, according to their specific requirements, according to the way that they need to understand it. Because the moment that they can understand, 100% understand that the value that you bring exceeds the price that you're asking them to pay for it, they will eagerly buy from you. Selling becomes simple. Closing those sales becomes really, really simple. What your engaging questions really need to be doing is they need to be digging, they need to be uncovering, they need to be exploring until you unlock their reason for buying. Because remember, people buy with their emotions. Even if they are a CEO of a huge organization, their final buying decision, yes, they explore and they use logic to decide, but their final buying decision is an emotional decision. So your engaging questions need to find a way to unlock their reason for buying. Because once you know their reason for buying, you can communicate your value into that specific understanding. And again, closing the sale becomes really simple because you understand their unique, specific reason for buying. So as you build these questions, try to build all of these specifics into the process so that you are able to unlock all of these very, very crucial issues that will help you to easily close virtually every single sale. While you're in this appointment, while you're meeting with a decision maker, I guess you're going to say, yeah, this is sales 101 stuff. But really be engaging. Try to be as friendly as you possibly can. Crucial. You need to be well informed. And that goes back to preparation. Because the more prepared you are, the more understanding you have about their business, the more relaxed the decision maker is going to be, the more the decision maker is going to trust you, the more the decision maker is going to believe what you have to say. So it's all about being friendly, being prepared, being well informed, and sitting with an honest feeling in your heart, asking the question all the time, how can I help you? Because that's how you spell sell. You spell sell H-E-L-P. How can I help you? Because if you are honestly sitting there and you authentically have your prospect or your customer's best interest at heart, they will feel the energy. They will respond to you. They will want to do business with you. And most importantly, they will get to trust you. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. If you can get those three elements in place and you can ensure that they are getting more value, even if it's perceived value, more perceived value or more real value than the price you're asking them to pay, closing sales is really simple. And most importantly, while you're asking these engaging questions, you know the value that you bring. You know the value that you and your product offers. Discover how you can communicate that to them, because they don't care about your business, they don't care about you, they don't care about your product. All that the prospect actually cares about is what's in it for me? And if you can tell them what's in it for them, if you can communicate to their values, if you can communicate to their belief system, if you can communicate everything that they need, and they can see that there is everything they need in your product or service, they will gladly buy from you. And finally, you need to find out what their unique values and expectations are. Every single person is different. There's 4 different personality types. Each of them has different intrinsic needs and requirements. Get to know people, get to be able to read people, understand what their expectations are, communicate to their expectations, tell them how your product will serve them. Get to understand or get to know what the typical objections are. Deal with those objections in your presentation. Deal with those objections during your talk, during your appointment. And you probably won't even have to handle any objections. That's how you become successful.